Baltimore, Maryland, a city known for its grit, its passion, and its love of hoops. And tonight, that passion was on full display because thousands of fans came pouring into the arena. Not to see Caitlin Clark drop 30 points, not to watch her pull up from the logo, but to see her not even play. That's right, Caitlin Clark didn't suit up. She didn't score. She didn't take a single dribble. And yet, she was the show. So why are fans still showing up in droves when they know she won't touch the floor? And what does this say about her impact on basketball, Baltimore, and the WNBA as a whole? Let's break it down. This night was supposed to be historic. The Indiana Fever brought a game to Baltimore. The first time in years that professional women's basketball was front and center in Charm City. The hype was real. Tickets sold out in record time. Clark's jersey became the must-have merch. Families made plans weeks in advance. Kids begged their parents just to get inside the building. But just days before tip-off, the news broke. Caitlin Clark wasn't going to play. Whether it was injury management, rest, or simple team strategy, fans knew she'd be sidelined. Now, in most sports, that would have killed the vibe. People would have stayed home. Seats would have been empty. But in Baltimore, not a chance. The fans came anyway, and they came loud. The buzz was electric. Tickets sold out faster than anyone expected. Clark's jerseys flew off the shelves. Families circled the date on their calendars weeks in advance. But just before tip-off, the news hit. Caitlin Clark wouldn't play. Injury management, rest, or just precaution, the result was the same. Normally, that's when the energy dies. Fans cancel, seats sit empty. But not here. Not Baltimore. Instead, fans doubled down. They came anyway. They came loud. And they came to celebrate Caitlin Clark just for being there. Here's where things get wild. Even though she didn't play, Caitlin Clark was still the biggest attraction in the arena. When she walked onto the floor before tip-off, the crowd erupted like it was the finals. When the camera panned to her sitting on the bench, the building shook with cheers. Think about that. She didn't score. She didn't run an offense. She didn't even put on her jersey. And yet, she sold out the building. That's star power you can't teach. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's a movement. A once-in-a-generation figure who doesn't just play basketball. She transcends it. When she walked out for warm-ups in sweats, the crowd roared like she just hit a game winner. When the big screen showed her sitting on the bench, fans jumped to their feet. She didn't score. She didn't log a single minute. Yet the arena was sold out and buzzing like it was the finals. That's star power you can't manufacture. Caitlin Clark is more than a rookie. She's a phenomenon. She's one of those once-in-a-generation athletes who transcends the game. And Baltimore made it clear. They weren't just there for basketball. They were there for her. Part of what made this night so special is Baltimore itself. This is a city with basketball in its DNA. Dunbar High School, legendary. Carmelo Anthony, Baltimore born and raised. The playgrounds and rec leagues here, some of the toughest in the country. But the city hasn't always had a spotlight on the pro stage. So when Caitlin Clark and the Fever came to town, this was more than a game. It was Baltimore's chance to shine. Parents brought their kids not just to watch a matchup, but to make memories. One fan said, "Even if she's not playing, just being in the same arena as Caitlin Clark is something my family will never forget." That's the level she's at, bigger than the scoreboard, bigger than the box score. One fan told reporters, even if she didn't play, just being in the same building as Caitlin Clark was worth it. My daughter will remember this night for the rest of her life. That's impact. That's cultural weight. And that's Baltimore proving why it's one of the great basketball cities in America. Now, don't get it twisted. The Indiana Fever still had a game to play. Aaliyah Boston went to work in the paint, proving once again she's a superstar in her own right. Kelsey Mitchell knocked down jumper after jumper. Lexi Hull brought the energy, the grit, the hustle. The Fever showed Baltimore that they're not just Caitlin Clark and company. They're a team on the rise. But here's the reality. Every time the Fever made a run, the crowd's eyes drifted back to the bench. Back to Caitlin. She wasn't playing, but she was still the heartbeat of the night. The Fever proved they're not just a one-woman show. They can win, they can grind, and they can compete. But let's be honest. Every time the Fever made a big play, the crowd's eyes still drifted back to Caitlin Clark on the bench. That's not a knock on the team. That's just the reality. She's the magnet. She's the reason this game was sold out in Baltimore to begin with. So, what does Baltimore's turnout really mean? It means Caitlin Clark isn't just moving the needle for the Fever. She is the needle for the entire WNBA. Even when she doesn't play, fans fill arenas. Networks cash in. Sponsors show up. That puts her in rare air. How many athletes in history could sell out an arena without even playing? Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods. Now Caitlin Clark is in that conversation, and she's still a rookie. The WNBA has to take notice. Fans are sending a loud, clear message. Protect Caitlin. Promote Caitlin. Build around Caitlin. Because she's not just the future of the Fever, she's the future of the league. And if you think this was just hype, the fan reactions tell the real story. On TikTok, one dad posted, "My daughter didn't care if Caitlin played. She just wanted to see her hero in person. Tonight, she got that." Another fan tweeted, "Only Caitlin Clark could sell out Baltimore from the bench." Reporters said they'd never heard cheers so loud for someone not even in the game. This wasn't disappointment, this was gratitude. Fans weren't upset she didn't play. They were just grateful to share the same space as her. And if you need more proof, just look at the fan reactions. On TikTok, one dad posted, "My daughter didn't care if Caitlin played or not. She just wanted to see her hero. Tonight, she got that dream." Another fan tweeted, "Only Caitlin Clark could sell out Baltimore sitting on the bench." Even seasoned reporters couldn't believe how loud the cheers were for someone not even in uniform. This wasn't disappointment. This wasn't frustration. This was celebration. Fans were just grateful to share space with her. And that's what separates a superstar from a cultural icon. The Fever are fighting for a postseason spot, and every game matters. With Clark on the bench, the team had to prove they could survive without her. Baltimore gave them that stage, and they responded. But the bigger legacy play? Nights like this show Caitlin Clark's reach goes beyond wins and losses. Whether she's scoring 40, resting, or sidelined, fans will still show up. Cities will still sell out. And the WNBA will still reap the rewards. That's a legacy very few athletes have. And Caitlin Clark is building it before our eyes. So here's the bottom line. In Baltimore, the fans came out in droves to see Caitlin Clark not play. And that speaks volumes. She's not just the face of the Indiana Fever. She's not just the face of the WNBA. She's a cultural icon who can fill arenas with her presence alone. Baltimore proved it. The fans proved it. And Caitlin Clark continues to rewrite the rules of what women's sports can be. Now I want to hear from you. Would you still buy a ticket if you knew Caitlin Clark wasn't playing? And do you think her star power can keep growing at this insane pace? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button if you're riding with Caitlin, and don't forget to subscribe, because this journey, it's only just beginning.